Hey guys, welcome to today's video. We're going to be talking about Jimmy Garoppolo and some possible trade landing spots for him. I think he's probably going to be on his way out of San Francisco. And where are some places he could land? We're going to be going over the top 4 places where he could end up going. Before we get started though, please drop a quick like and a sub on today's video. That would really help my channel grow. I'd really appreciate that. With that said, let's dive right into the video and I hope you enjoy. So we're going to be taking a little bit of a deep dive into 4 potential landing spots for Jimmy Garoppolo. This is just a CBS article, but I agree with these landing spots and you know why he'd be a good fit there. So let's start by going straight in here, and I think it makes the most sense, the New England Patriots. Obviously, Jimmy Garoppolo was the backup there a few seasons ago when Tom Brady, missed those first 4 games due to the whole Deflategate scandal. But nonetheless, I mean, it just makes sense for Garoppolo to go back to New England. I mean, the New England Patriots, in New England, Garoppolo was good. Like, he was successful, and he played really well in those first few weeks when Brady couldn't play, and his success in those first few weeks allowed for San Francisco to really think that, they should go after him. And that's what ended up happening. They ended up trading a second-round pick for Garoppolo. But at the end of the day, I just think that the Patriots make the most sense. It's really that simple. I mean, Garoppolo played well in New England. That's where he started his career. He's already shown that he can be successful in Josh McDaniel's system. He's shown that he can do well there. And the Patriots also, they need a quarterback. And I know they re-signed Cam Newton to a 1-year deal, but that's really a small deal with a lot of incentives. So I still think that they're going to go out and get a quarterback. Is it Garoppolo? Is it a trade? We've already seen Garoppolo play well in New England, and I think that, with the Patriots bringing in all these weapons on the outside, guys like Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith, Nelson Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne, who, Jimmy Garoppolo has played with in San Francisco, I think that Garoppolo could really work with those guys. He's got good tight ends, some solid wide receivers, a really good offensive line, and, a strong running game, too, with guys like Sony Michel in the backfield. Damian Harris is in that backfield. So at the end of the day, I just think that, the amount of talent on that Patriots offense that they really brought in this offseason, they need a quarterback that has been good at times in his career. Garoppolo's that, and he's already comfortable with the offense there in New England. So I think this is a no-brainer here for the Patriots if they decided to go that way. For the Broncos, I think this is another possible move. I think this would be another move that would make sense. I think that the Broncos realize that a guy like Drew Lock is not the answer. I think that they understand that they might give Lock another year. They do have the 9th overall pick, or they do have a high draft pick, and I think that. With that said, I mean, they could still be they'll be in the market for a quarterback. I don't think Locke is a long-term answer. I don't like what he's been able to do over the past few seasons. He hasn't really looked confident. He was good in his rookie year, but after that, last season, he struggled with some injuries. But I just think that, I don't think Drew Lock is the future there, and I think Garoppolo is a guy who's had playoff success. He's been a veteran quarterback for a few years. He even took a team to a Super Bowl, and I think the Broncos have some weapons on the outside that Garoppolo could really mesh with. They've got a good tight end in Noah Fant. They've got some up-and-coming receivers, Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler. So I think that there's a nice base there in Denver. They've also got a strong running game, and that would fit, how Garoppolo played in San Francisco. Strong running game, and then using the weapons on the outside off of the running game. So I think, the Broncos, they need quarterback. They go out and get a veteran guy like Garoppolo. It would make sense. Finally, though, let's go to the 4th team, and I think it's got to be the Chicago Bears. That's a really interesting one. I know Chicago, signed Andy Dalton, but that's another video right there. Just them going out and getting Andy Dalton instead of, really trying to go out and get someone else. But you know what? The Chicago Bears make sense, and for a few reasons. One, I think that the need for a quarterback, the need for a legit starting quarterback in the NFL is something that the Bears have really struggled with over the past few seasons. Mitch Trubisky was not the answer. He's now off to Buffalo. Nick Foles, that didn't work out. I don't think Andy Dalton will be, a top 20 quarterback with the Bears. Get a guy like Garoppolo, and you have a much better option. I think Garoppolo simply is just a better option if you want to win now. Your defense is going to be a little bit worse. The cornerback position is a big issue. They let go of Kyle Fuller. They might do some other things on that defense, trying to shed some salary cap. But nonetheless, I think that, with Allen Robinson there, you bring in Garoppolo, you've got some pieces on that offense, David Montgomery. There's some weapons there, and Garoppolo simply is just a better quarterback than Dalton. And if you want to make the playoffs, then I think the Bears are in a position where they can compete for the playoffs. And in I think, a weaker NFC than the AFC. I think the AFC is a little bit stronger. The Vikings aren't going to be very good. The Lions aren't going to be extremely good. I think that the both of those teams got better, and they will get better this offseason. But the Bears, I think, are the one team in that division that really got worse. They did, and I don't think that they really improved anywhere on that team during free agency. So I think the draft is going to be important for them, but I think young and getting, trading for a guy like Garoppolo gives them a legit starting quarterback. And sure, it'd be interesting to see how they could do that with the cap space that they have, trying to move Nick Foles' contract. But I think the Chicago Bears, Jimmy Garoppolo would make a lot of sense with them, just with the fact that they need a legit quarterback that can be, top 15, top 20. Dalton isn't that. If they want to have chances at the playoffs, I think Garoppolo could be their guy. So with that said, I think the Bears make sense. I think the Panthers make sense. I think the Broncos also make sense. But really, at the end of the day, it's got to be the New England Patriots, and I think the New England Patriots make the most sense, especially with Garoppolo's links to Foxborough. So with that said, even with the Patriots, going out and re-signing Cam Newton, I still think the Patriots make the most sense. We talked about his links to Foxborough. We talked about him and his success with Josh McDaniels' offense, him being in New England before. And I think that the pieces that they added on offense would also help, Garoppolo seamlessly transition into that Patriots offense. Bringing in two really good tight ends like Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry is going to help any quarterback, and a quarterback that can pass the ball a little bit better and open up an offense a little bit more. A guy like Garoppolo over a guy like Cam Newton, I think that the guys and the pieces that they brought in really scream to me that they want to bring in a quarterback that is a player that can really throw the ball. And I think that Cam Newton isn't a guy that can really throw the ball as well as most of the quarterbacks in the NFL. His arm is not what it used to be. Ever since having that shoulder surgery, looks like he's been a little bit wonky in the pocket. But overall, I just think that the Patriots make the most sense. Garoppolo's been there before. He's comfortable in that system. He's succeeded in that system before. And he started 2 games for the Patriots in 2016. We can see there completing 71.2% of his passes for 496 yards with 4 touchdowns and no interceptions. And New England won both of those games. So at the end of the day, I just think Garoppolo is the no-brainer for the Patriots if they decided to go out and trade for a quarterback. Obviously, there's also Sam Darnold on the market, maybe. There might be Deshaun Watson. But at the end of the day, I just think that a guy like Garoppolo just makes a lot of sense in New England. And with that said, that's pretty much going to end the video for today. Did you agree with my analysis? Why or why not? Leave your comments and thoughts in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Also, if you're new around here, please drop a like and a sub on today's video. I'd really appreciate that. And with that said, I hope you enjoyed the video. And until next time, see ya.